It's time for Cats Talk Wednesday. Small town and big city joined forces. Vinny Hardy of Lynch, Kentucky, and Terry Brown of Louisville, Kentucky, team up to give you free-flowing, laid-back sports talk. Focus on Kentucky Wildcats, as well as pertinent information in the NBA, NFL, and Major League Baseball.
Lynch and Louisville in the building again. TB
That's right.
Vinny back. Cats Talk Wednesday. TB, man, you was out last week. Glad you back today, man. I rambled for a little bit, about 30, 35, 40 minutes last week. Glad to have you back so we can have the banter back. How was the trip back home to the Ville? How's everything going, man?
Always good, man. Had a good time. Got to see family. Got some good home-cooked meals. Got to go see Ant-Man 3. That's a movie in the Marvel Universe, Vinny.
I think I've seen the first one.
Well, Ant-Man is one of our favorites, so it was good to do that. And so I had a real good trip home. Good travels. Beat the weather on the way out, thankfully. Drove straight through last Wednesday. Didn't get to Louisville till about 3:40 in the morning. And so Thursday was a recovery day because I'm not built for late nights anymore.
See, I left like after work last Wednesday.
Yes.
And how long did it take?
We actually made really good time. So we left. It took about 9.5 hours.
And that's counting the time change, or this
That's just total 9.5 because we left at 5:30 Central. We got there at 2:30 Central.
Okay.
So we made good. Wasn't no traffic, but we made it. We made it. Long story short, caught the Mississippi State game as I'm driving. Caught that on Wednesday night, and then caught the Tennessee game. On Saturday. So, may as well get into it. What a difference a couple of weeks make.
Yeah.
And, I still say that, there were some bad losses that should not have happened. That South Carolina, that one is a head scratcher. Yeah. But to be fair, we've had head scratchers before,
Evansville, Richmond.
Folks like myself with talk about that 2020 team with the canceled tournament. They were looking great at that point, but also lost to Evansville. Here comes my dog, like he's the police, just breaking in the door. Hello, Sammy.
I'm sure my wife's cats will probably, the litter box is probably within earshot, so they'll probably jump in and start scratching and going to the bathroom like they never went to the bathroom before. I give it any second. They know these things.
Yes.
It's like, recording in progress. Let's make some noise.
Has come to Livingston. Who, his rebounding, Mississippi State, and his defense and his plays, he just made some athletic plays. There was that play, he got the block against Tennessee before he goes out of bounds, gets it back in, starts that fast break. That's an athletic play.
Yeah.
And that's just a bang, bang, not thinking about it. That's just a play that you just make. And so what you and I have talked about before with these freshmen is every freshman is different. And just because we've been fortunate enough to have a lot of freshmen come under Cal and have that light bulb moment early doesn't mean that happens for all of them. The old saying, the best thing about a freshman is they become sophomores, right? That used to be the thing. So if that light bulb's gone off for Livingston, his rebounding helps Oscar.
Yeah.
Right? He's been aggressive, making those grown men drives, right? To the basket. His shot, he's hit a couple of big threes. So it's Livingston. It's Cason Wallace playing better. So it's a lot of things coming into it. So it's okay to say, hey, at one point we were like 1-3 in the SEC.
Yeah.
And now third place. with tiebreakers, right?
Yeah.
And it's not I've seen people, Tristan, who we had on the show a couple of weeks ago, pointed that out, and people are like, oh, this is how low we've fallen because we're just happy to be in third place. Look, man, sometimes Kentucky's third place in the SEC. Like it's rare. It doesn't happen all the time, but sometimes it does. It is really okay to be happy. It's okay to see where we were, where a lot of folks had written this team off, myself included, right? There was whispers this team had checked out. There was whisper, but
it happened a couple different times. We're back, and then we took some more blows and got knocked down again and had to come back and climb again. It's been a roller coaster type year.
So it's okay to say they've improved. It's okay to say that. It's okay to say, I think they win tonight, especially with Castleton being out for Florida. These last 4, you go 3-1.
Yeah.
You're getting the double bye in the SEC tournament. I'm not even worried about seeding in the big tournament. Again, to repeat ourselves, unless Kentucky is a 1 or 2 loss team, we're going to get underseeded.
Yep.
Unless we go in like 2015 and 2012 and 2010 and 96, we are going to get seated lower than we probably should.
Yep.
And the thing is that you just have to expect that. Like that, just move on, right? Just don't even worry about that because that's what happens, right? But by the same token, you look at 2011, you look at 2014, it doesn't hurt Kentucky. Kentucky Clips put out that rundown on the Wichita State game in 2014. Still one of the best college basketball games I've ever seen. Yeah. Right? And there's no way that Wichita State, the number 1 overall seed, should have played that Kentucky team in round 2. That wasn't fair to them. Yeah. It was a great game, but it wasn't fair. In the same way, 2011, playing Ohio State, it wasn't fair to Ohio State.
Yeah.
It just wasn't. I mean, I'm glad we won.
They were 4. Were they 4 that year?
Yeah, I believe so. 4 that year. So, it doesn't hurt Kentucky. It really hurts the other team because let's say Kentucky finishes 3-1 the regular season and they're playing on Sunday in the SEC tournament, right? So that's 3 more regular season wins, 2 more tournament wins at the very least.
12-6 in the conference after the 1-3 start.
Right.
12-6.
So you get to that point, and for me to have that happen, we're really clicking, right? Especially if we can go 4-0 and win at Arkansas.
Yeah. Woo.
That means Wheeler's back, CJ's back. Things are rolling if we're able to do that, right? So that's a scenario where if I'm a top 3 or 4 seed, I don't want Kentucky there. So it's not crazy to see this team's improvement. It's okay to say they've improved. Like, I just wish people, well, look how far we got. Yeah, this year we thought it was going to be terrible. May not be that bad.
Yeah. And, Cal says it, we roll our eyes. They're not machines. They're not robots. That's why sometimes they are third in the SEC instead of first every single year. That's why you have years like this. But on paper, they're not what you thought. And there's still going to be, and got the potential to be, a problem come next month.
Absolutely. And that's the thing is, this team could mess around and get to the second weekend, which I think after the South Carolina game is a win.
Yeah.
Anyway, I feel confident. about tonight. I think they can at least go 3-1. I know Vanderbilt's playing much better, Auburn and Arkansas, but I feel very, very good about this team where they are right now. Now, hopefully they don't lay an egg tonight. Playing on the road's always tough, but this is a make or break, and we've seen them play a lot of games they had to win. Mississippi State was ugly, had to win. They took care of Tennessee. Now, I know you like that being that where you are.
Yeah.
Man.
Been a little while since we swept them, and they salty about it too. They are salty. Oh,
we now officially have crossed the line, Vinny. 159 Thanksgivings, 160 Kentucky wins against Tennessee. So, yes, Volunteers, they can pound their chest. Ain't nobody beat Kentucky like we beat Kentucky. As far as I can tell, in any sport, in major Division I, FBS, whatever, I can't find any team that has beaten another team, not baseball, not softball, not football, not track, not swimming. Ain't nobody beat anybody else like Kentucky has beaten Tennessee. Not 160 times. You can't find that anywhere else.
That's
160 times.
That's dominating. That's lovely.
You could go to church for 4 years, give thanks to whoever you believe in, that Kentucky beat Tennessee for 4 years, and it could be a different game. 160 times. And this is what I talk about, right? Because Rick Barnes owned John Calipari, and you see a lot of Tennessee fans because Rick Barnes only got the one Elite Eight.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. Rick Barnes has 5. He's got 5, I think.
Okay.
Or 4.
One Final Four. Just one Final Four. Right?
One Final Four. And I tweeted this out, and I mean this. I wish fans, Kentucky fans, and other fans would stop with the mindset that Coach Cal's career began when he got to Kentucky. He took UMass to 2 Elite Eights, and it was Marcus Camby and a bunch of dudes that went pro and something else. He took Memphis to 3, and of course, yeah, you got Derrick Rose, you got Tyreek Evans, and Chris Douglas Roberts, maybe that's a name, but my point is, people just like, well, he's got all the talent. No, he was a good coach before he got to Lexington.
Yeah.
Like, what he did here was just icing on the cake to what was going to be an already Hall of Fame career.
That's true.
And when you talk about coaches and you're a Rick Barnes defender and you're talking about squandering talent, Kevin Durant did not make the second weekend. You're like, oh, he had Kevin Durant. He had NBA player DJ Augustine with him as well. So, look, all I'm saying is, back to Tennessee. This is what happens in the SEC. I've explained this to my lovely wife. I might have said it here. There's always a stretch where some opposing team goes 500 against Kentucky. Just 500. They might even have a game on Kentucky. It might be a stretch where they're like, 9-8. Oh, we got to, and then they're like, oh, it's even. And then you just check the rest of it, and it's like, Kentucky's won 70% of the other games. Every SEC men's record is like that. The only outlier is Florida, because I believe they won 10 out of 12, which I'm not Corey Price. I think it's probably the best stretch any team's ever had against Kentucky, because they were just giving us the business, right? Back in the Joakim Noah days.
Yeah.
But they were also winning national championships, though, right? But my point is, it's like that meme going around about the Angels. and Mike Trout and Otani. You know, Mike Trout does the first. He's done. You know, he's setting all these records. You know, Tunks and Armdo. I forget how it goes. You know, those two guys do these miraculous things, and the Orioles beat the Angels 6-5, and that's the way it is. Like, oh, we've caught up with Kentucky. Then you look at like it. Please stop saying it is a rivalry, because you know Tennessee fans. You know, we go 500 against them in football. They're very open and honest and loud and tell you it's not a rivalry. Because, okay, I give you that.
Yep.
So please stop calling this a rivalry.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Tennessee has been to 9 Sweet 16s. 9. Kentucky has won 8 titles. We are not the same.
Mm-mm.
We're just not the same. Please stop. And, you know, I saw the back and forth, and my man Blake, I don't know if you follow Blake Spires on the Twitter, was, you know, kind of dunking on Tennessee. And a Tennessee fan responded, you know, this is the best era of Tennessee basketball, and all they have to show for it is an SEC tournament championship. His tweet was, they got nothing to show for it. Tennessee fans, we won the SEC tournament last year. Is that a flex?
Yeah.
Is like that's your flex, right? To wit, the Tennessee Volunteers are the Los Angeles Clippers of the SEC.
Yeah.
They want to tell you it's our time. And this is the best it's ever been, and it's still not Final Four worthy. To my point, what did we do this past weekend as Kentucky fans? Right? We flash it back. 25 years, Vinny.
Mm-hmm.
25 years.
Mm-hmm.
When Kentucky's at its best, what do? 2 championships and a runner-up.
Mm-hmm.
That's when we're at our best, right?
Yeah. And couldn't have a better opponent in for that ceremony. Because
to let them know
they love to honor theirs and still lose to us 9 times out of 10. Allen Houston's
get out
back.
Of here, man.
Chris Lofton's back. Candace Parker's back. Bernard King is back. And Kentucky still wins more often than not. You know, the highlight is the halftime for that.
Right. So, look, go back to this team. You know, we could talk about Tennessee all night long, but I'm comfortable. I'm confident in this team, and they're building confidence in each other. You and I have talked about it before. It's all about trust in your teammates. You know, I see people responding, oh, you know, Cal finally understood what we all do. Look, this is a people business. You can't just look at the numbers, start plugging people in. As we talked about before, Severe had to be on board with being, quote unquote, demoted.
Mm-hmm.
This could have gone a bunch of different ways if he wasn't mature enough to be on board. You can't just flip switches like that.
Yep.
Right? You can't force Livingston's light bulb to come on. Right? You can't force Toppin to finally realize, hey, I can jump out of this gym. You can't guard me with somebody 6'4".
Yeah.
Right? Like it takes time. But anyway, I'm excited about what the Cats are doing. I know we're gonna cut this one short, so can we talk about what's going on in Tuscaloosa?
Mm-hmm. And I want to backtrack and get your Super Bowl thoughts real quick.
Oh, Super Bowl, yeah.
And your All-Star Weekend thoughts and
okay, so the Super Bowl. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is that dude. We need to stop pretending otherwise. Like Cincinnati fans, y'all got to stop. Got to look. Joe Burrow is fantastic. He's not Patrick Mahomes. Because the thing that separates Patrick Mahomes at this point is the offense in KC used to be just bombs away. Right? Super Bowl a couple years ago, you know, Tyreek, he down there somewhere.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They didn't have a pass play longer than 20 yards in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Juju Smith-Schuster and I don't know the other dude. I don't even know the receiver. and then how does Kelsey still getting wide open? He the only guy you got a double, and he was just running free on the Eagles.
So, the Eagles, it's one of those things where you see it in sports and, in the first half of a game, and, we see it a lot in basketball where, was it the Mississippi State game where it's like the defense was on point, but you got to score some points to create that separation, right? And the Eagles just didn't do enough and left Mahomes too much time.
He don't even start balling until he gets down double figures. I mean, am I down 10? Oh, it's 24-14. Okay. I was down 17 to the Titans and down 10 to the and look, I apologize. The NFL Network was replaying Niners Chiefs Super Bowl the other day, and I just think back to you. We're up 10 and we lose by 11.
How does that look, man? Okay.
He don't start playing until he's down double figures.
And so, right, he's just at a different level. Yeah. Now, the Eagles don't have anything to hold their head about.
No, they don't.
They did good. They've got a plan. I like the way they play. It's very similar to my 49ers. We're going to punch you in the face for 60 minutes.
And Jalen Hurts played great. So
yeah. The only issue is the one team, and I think I said it here, and I've said it publicly and privately, there was only one team I didn't think the 49ers could do that to, and it was the Chiefs. You can't punch Patrick Mahomes enough. Right. Now, does that mean they win every game? No. What that means is the big games, you can't beat him up enough.
He'll just rope-a-dope you if you do. I mean,
right.
That all you got, George?
And look, people can talk about the penalty. Look, it was an infraction.
Yep.
Now, whether or not you call it, okay.
Look, we've seen this before.
It was an infraction.
Miami, Ohio State, late flag that goes in favor of Ohio. We've seen this. It happens. It will continue to happen. Eagles gonna be mad, but yes, he did grab him by the letter of the law. It's a penalty.
He grabbed him twice, because he was doing the same move that the Chiefs got 2 touchdowns on. Go in motion, wide open.
Mm-hmm.
The third time, the defender grabs him on the inside cut, grabs him on the outside cut. Was it minimal contact? Yes, but that's all you need to slow down that play. That's all you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, it impacted the play. I thought it was a great Super Bowl. You and I are of the generation where Super Bowls weren't all that great.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're just, even when your team wins, it's, you want to watch because it's your team, but it ain't the, anyway.
Yeah.
So Super Bowl, it was great. Black quarterbacks doing their thing. You and I, again, are old enough to remember when, we was rocking with Randall.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know he was an Eagles guy, but, hey, you want to see him do good. So
Randall,
it's good.
Warren Moon.
Yeah.
We remember Doug Williams hyperextending his knee.
Yeah.
Like, oh, my goodness. And then coming back and just lighting Denver up.
Yes.
And so it was kind of ironic that Mahomes got injured like he was and then came back and gutted it out.
Yeah.
And when he absolutely had to have it, got them, put the Jets on for that big 30, 40-yard run. He kind of like saved it till he needed it most and pulled that off, man. So
that Doug Williams second quarter, that 35-point second quarter, I've never seen anything like it. You can't do that in Madden on the easy level.
I mean,
how do you get enough possessions to get 5 TDs?
Just
like, I don't even think they had I have to go back and watch. I don't think they had a lot of turnovers or anything. There was like some 3 and out. Like that is ridiculously hard to score 35 points in 15 minutes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It just is. But great Super Bowl. Hope my Niners come back. We just need, I saw something on 49ers fan page. Since over the last 15 seasons, there have only been 3 where we had a quarterback start all the games. And, it's like, man, if we could just get a consistent play out of the quarterback position. Anyway, I digress.
Yeah.
The All-Star game. There's a reason why it was the least watched All-Star game in a long time. It's trash.
Yeah, and we were kind of last ones to feel this way, but
because
we hope for the fourth quarter, the Elam ending. All right, they'll ramp it up, and even we couldn't even defend this one.
No. And so what happens is, and I looked it up on Basketball Reference, and there was a stretch. I know nostalgia likes to color a lot of things, but there was honestly a stretch where most of the All-Star games were single-digit games. And then there was the outlier was the Magic Johnson All-Star game where the West won by 40, right?
Yeah.
But there was a stretch where it was very, very close. We had about 4 or 5 overtime games. And I'm not saying that it was good basketball. What I'm saying is it was competitive. Because what I always liked about the NBA All-Star game, what you were hinting at, is they can jerk around for the first 3 quarters, right? But what usually happens is if it's close in the fourth, dudes kind of figure it out. Who gets the ball, who's doing what. But the last couple of years, this is 200 points in a basketball game.
Yeah.
That's too much. Like the 130, 140, I'm cool with, because again, you can look at the box scores, the fourth quarter, way more competitive than the rest of the game. So I don't know, like the NBA, the dunk contest with no all-stars. The dunk contest used to be the premier event, right? Dominique Wilkins, right? Michael Jordan, Dr. J, greats participating.
Multiple years.
Do what?
They would do it for multiple years too.
Right. Right. So the skills challenge, I don't know what that's about.
Yeah.
That ain't my cup of tea. Like, I don't want to see nobody jogging through and all that. So I don't know how they fix it, but this ain't it.
Yeah. Oh, because what Kobe only did it once. LeBron said he would and then didn't. And then but I will say that, and then we gotta get to Nate Oats. The whole world and the country was sleeping on Mac McClung, and rightfully so. Nobody knows where Gate City, Virginia is unless you from where I'm from. Yep, Southeastern Kentucky butts up against Southwestern Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's an hour away. I've been to Gate City and through Gate City more times than I can count. Got a little misty-eyed because Dad told me about Mac when he was in high school. He worked.
There you go.
At he worked at mines in Kentucky, but sometimes he would work in Virginia, depending on what was going on. So he would sometimes go to games over there after work. He said, "There's this kid over here, Mac McClung, Georgetown's looking at him. He's a bad rascal, And there was one time me and my Katie met Dad, dropped the boys off. We had a date night or something like that. Met Dad at Gate City High School. He was watching Gate City play. Katie and I went on and did wherever we was going to eat or whatever we were doing. There was a Christmas tournament in Kingsport, 10 minutes away from Gate City. Big old facility. All kind of teams come through. Dad and I and the boys went to go watch. Gate City was playing in there. We couldn't even get in. And we were early. But the line going in was like, we ain't getting in. So we just went and did something else. So he would have called. He would have been telling me, he said, look, Mac is about to win this. I tweeted out because Kenny Smith said something, and I was like, he don't know nothing about this boy. And I said, Kenny really sleeping on Mac. I didn't tweet out Mac was going to win, but I knew he wasn't going to embarrass himself. And sure, there wasn't John Morant to compete against, and there wasn't, LeBron or whoever, but that ain't his fault. And he went out there and he did his thing. So I sat there and just watched, I was like, Dad would have called and we'd have been talking about Mac. We talked about Mac on this show about how I can't imagine being in Gate City and Patrick Ewing strolling through the streets of little 2,500 people, Gate City, Virginia.
Yeah.
And, on the recruiting trip for Mac. So congrats to Mac. And just the fact that Pops told me about this dude when he was a sophomore in high school, and there he is winning the dunk contest. That was pretty cool. Even though
as far can't I watched a little bit of the contest, but I
got you.
You hear me?
Lagged a little bit. There you go. I got you back now. It froze up a little bit. Get TB right back in just a second. A little Wi-Fi acting up. But that stuff happens. But yeah, the All-Star game, it's hard to defend it. Even we can't defend what we saw. But yeah, congrats to Mac, like we were saying. And even the Magic Johnson All-Star game, like you said, that was fun. The ending was great. We all remember that. Even though it was a blowout. Back then, when it was blowouts, it wasn't just blatant Olay, Matador, no defense at all back
or then. You got two guys, playing one-on-one, everybody else. That's just no, man. That doesn't work for me. But
yeah.
So Nate Oats, Brandon Miller, is it Brandon Miller?
Yeah.
I was shocked a couple of weeks ago, or I guess last month, when the player got charged with capital murder. That was a big whoa.
Yeah.
That was okay. And so what broke yesterday with the grand jury that Miller provided the weapon, provided the gun that was used. I don't know how he's not charged with something. You can't be the one to bring the murder weapon to a scene and it not be something. But beyond that, Nate Oats, I know a lot of people in Big Blue Nation want Nate Oats and the way he plays or the way he coaches. I've never been a big fan, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So this quote, we knew about that. Can't control everything everybody does outside of practice. Nobody knew that was going to happen. College kids are out. Brandon hasn't been in any type of trouble, nor is he in any type of trouble with this case. Wrong spot at the wrong time, Oates said. Yeah, you got to do better than that. You got to, I mean, you have to do better than that. And I'm tired of people, innocent until proven guilty. Yeah, that is for a court of law. You're innocent until proven guilty when it's a legal proceeding. Mm-hmm. But the coach has every right to revoke your privilege of playing. Yep. It's just that simple. You were somewhere you shouldn't have been.
Mm-hmm.
A game or two. Something.
Yeah.
Not just keep it moving. And they've been backtracking today and all that kind of stuff. But
yeah. And it was like you said, when homeboy Miles dismissed from the team, capital murder, it seemed to be real open and shut and swift, and we're moving on and we're all right. And the fact that nothing ever like goes that efficiently.
Yeah,
it was, and I was like, oh, okay, it's because he don't play much. He's scoring 2 points a game. All right, that's and I thought, okay, that's where everybody's moving on. Then we get to all this other stuff, and he's gonna play tonight at South Carolina. And there's this statement from his attorney talking about he didn't have anything didn't go inside a nightclub, went to a restaurant. He was asked to pick him up, and bring him the gun, but he didn't do this, he didn't do that. But you still brought him the gun, and now there's no intent and all that. But it wrong place, wrong time. It don't happen until he brings the gun. He brought the gun.
Look, Vinny,
bring me. I text you, bring me the heat, TB, and then you bring the heat.
That's what I'm saying. It's 2:00 in the morning or whatever it is, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and you text me, bring the heat.
Oh.
That's not like some Alabama. He was just returning his property. No. You text somebody, bring me the heat, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. That ain't returning my stuff. That's not, hey, I left my sweater at your house. That's not what happened.
Mm-mm.
So, look, it's a bad look all around.
Yeah.
I don't know what will happen because folks are going to dig in. This is just wild. It's a wild story. Look.
He opened himself up for that because he was all, the kids wasn't out. And he wouldn't even look at the camera. He was like scratching and fiddling and wrong play, wrong. You couldn't have been more flippant.
And Elliot in our spaces brought this up yesterday. Was it last season? Might have been the season before. The football players that got suspended. Right? Before the legal process even had run its course, they were suspended.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that even turned out to be nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Because the officer and all that kind of stuff, it came back, hey, you have to do something.
Yep.
You cannot put yourself in that position.
Mm-hmm.
And look, as you and I have said before, you're a fan. Everybody is just an ESPN alert away from, thank you, Sammy, from being, whatever, but as I was explaining to my lovely wife, Kentucky's transgressions have generally been about improper benefits and running afoul of the NCAA.
Mm-hmm.
It hasn't been the litany of stuff that's happened at my hometown school. Nope. It hasn't been everything that went down at the University of Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Which my whole thing about the Super Bowl was Greg Olson, G-Reg. Remember when Miami came with that rap? Yeah, G-Reg with was it 7th floor positive? That's what I kept saying is that dude's called a Super Bowl. Oh, if you ever get a chance to, let me find it real quick because I had to share this again with the missus. It's the where is it? The G is G-Reg and that rap, and I'll have to find it. And you Google that, and it's like, oh, and that dude's calling Super Bowl. So you know what? Yeah. Anything's possible.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the 7th floor crew music video, Miami football team rap. The 7th floor crew. Hold on.
Hi, this is Marvelous. This song, what I say? This song in its entirety is not meant to disrespect any women in its entirety.
Okay. If you got to put that disclaimer on it, right? Yeah, I'm not going to play it. But the fact that G-Reg was doing a Super Bowl blows my mind, right? So anyway, it's a bad look all the way around because we expect these coaches. We know it's not true, but we give lip service. They're leaders of men. They're molders of men and blah, 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 blah. You can't do this. You just can't. You just can't. Yeah, I saw an Alabama fan quote tweet one of our Kentucky fans, like, a Kentucky fan saying this? We ain't had nobody kill nobody.
Right. No.
We ain't had no hookers in the door. Like, look, man, my school, we are not perfect. All of our strikes is because we giving dudes money. Going back to the Emory package or whatever. That's our transgression.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not even wrong. Because as we end this, let me get on my soapbox about my hometown school. I know you saw me put this on Facebook because I got a lot of flack for it. I'm old enough to remember when the NCAA was infallible, right?
Mm-hmm.
When John Vincent Calipari was hired in Kentucky in April of 2009, I heard a lot of things from my Louisville fans. He was the vacator. He was a cheater. Everywhere he went, banners came down. So they equated breaking NCAA law with some kind of moral failing, right? I know you heard it. And now they want to act like I'm making that up. I'm not making it up. I'm old enough to remember what y'all was saying. And we kept saying, well, you know, Marcus Camby on his own took the money. And at Memphis, Derrick Rose didn't even talk to NCAA and they made their own decisions. Nope. Cal's dirty. You're dirty. Your banner's coming down. Your banner's coming down. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Now we fast forward to 2023. The NCAA is a 4-letter word in my hometown. They want to put the banner back up because the NCAA is corrupt. I said, well, when did it get to be corrupt? When did it? Well, do you know, TB, the NCAA, you know, they have personal vendettas. For real? Get out. And they just make decisions on the fly. There's no precedent for it. For real? Huh. Do tell.
How long has this been? The quote, NCAA is so mad at South Carolina, they put Cleveland State on probation. We've been hearing that our whole life.
Right. But all of a sudden, now y'all got caught. And now it's, you know, forget the NCAA, which is fine. Welcome to the resistance, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to what we've been saying.
Yep.
But then, well, you know, I always thought that, you know, paying players and, you know, they should. No, you don't get to do that.
Because they love that Kentucky shame, Sports Illustrated.
They loved it. And like when Coach Cal got hired, you know, you got to put up with Velcro. Meaning, you run foul of the NCAA, you're a bad person. Now, all of a sudden, it's, we really won those games. Really? Because I saw Derrick Rose in the championship game. Did you?
Sure did.
Right? I saw Marcus Camby in the Final Four. Did you? I saw those things. So what's different? What's different? Just say it affects me now. So and move and keep it moving, but don't get on your high horse. The NCAA and it's corrupt and it's about money. I know it's about money. What are you talking about?
I mean,
they make things up. Yes, they do. There's no precedent with the NCAA.
I mean, you go back to CCNY and the 40s and the Rups.
It's all a bunch of it is a bunch of stuff. Yes. Well, they didn't do anything in North Carolina. Yeah, they didn't do anything in North Carolina. Yeah, I mean, yes, I'm with you. We've been saying this.
That personal vendetta thing you're mad about.
That's what we've been. Well, and to be fair, UVL was being wild. Let's be clear about that. As you and I have discussed, some of that stuff you can't explain in mixed company.
Yep.
I can say to my kids, yeah, you know, back then Kentucky was giving money to players when they shouldn't have been. Anyway, but I just had to get that out there.
Absolutely. And just going back to Nate Oats, even though we knew they was going to backpedal, he going to say, I thought it was important for me to clarify the unfortunate remarks. The entire time I tried to be thoughtful in my words relative to this tragic incident. Watch the video of
makes
yourself and tell me you're trying to be thoughtful with your words the entire time. You don't sit there and try to apologize and say, I've been trying to be thoughtful and selective with how I say things the whole time. No, you ain't.
So this is the one time I agree with Matt Jones of KSR when he was covering the Patino extortion case. Not to be confused with the Mac FBI extortion case. Look, you need you need one of those things like in the movies to draw a line to keep everything straight. And he made the point because the transcript of what went on was there, but there are no cameras. And he made the point that if there was video or audio of Patino's testimony, that's a wrap. Because reading the words, you don't always get what it was.
The tone and
right. You don't get all that. It's just words, and it's really hard to, because we're visual. Most people are very visual and auditory, and just reading the words is not the same. It's like the difference between like reading a play and watching a play, right? You don't quite get it. Anyway, my point is watch that video with Nate Oates. It's worse when you watch the video.
Yeah, boy.
The words are bad enough. But anyway, go Cats, beat the Gators. Let's get on a roll.
It's time to roll. It's February 22nd. It's time to start.
Yeah, it's getting ready to be
next week
January,
is March,
February,
right?
March, Kentucky, baby.
Yeah, next week is March. There's no leap year this year, right? So yeah, next Wednesday's the 1st.
That's correct.
All right.
That's correct. So we moving, we doing it, but always fun, man. Always fun to catch up and chop it up. We'll try to do something next week.
Yeah, it'll probably be something similar because they got another game, one more Wednesday game, but we'll pivot and do what we gotta do next week and all that good stuff. Y'all keep following us and checking us out. Yep. It's on the Roku, it's on the YouTube. TB and I about to go watch Cats-Gators. What up, Sam? Oh, you chilling now. You know about
man. You got a whole doggy bed. Don't get near it. Anyway.
We see everybody next week. Appreciate TV.
Yes,
Appreciate
sir.
y'all
We'll do it.
for watching and listening.